right. Good morning, everyone. It's Joan Robison. We are going to start with drawing our Ignite the Light cards, which, by the way, you can grab these cards at joanrobison.com. Get your Ignite the Light cards /shop. All right, Jen, you want card number 1 or card number 2 as we get underway?
Let's do 1.
Okay. You ready for this?
I am ready.
Well, we had this card just the other day. Ignite your light. Ignite your light. All right. So I am either living in the dark or I am walking in the light. Light and dark can exist at the same time. Not all darkness is meant to blind me. Some darkness is meant to wake me up and to clear a path. It's time to release the things that are keeping me in the dark. Flip the switch and ignite your light from within. Shine your light on the path for others. So Jen, how did that speak to you?
Okay, that card is super special right this minute because I have had a bunch of really great weeks and it feels so amazing. But 2 nights ago in my sleep, I had an anxious moment. I woke up hot and sweaty. I woke up with my heart racing. And I remember saying to myself, thank you. This is something you taught me. Thank you. I feel you, but you're not going to stop me this time. I'm not you. And then I went back to bed. I did have a little bit of a hard time falling back to sleep, but I woke up the next morning and I remember saying to myself, gosh, it's going to be a rough day. This is not a good spot to start my day in. And then I flipped it. I said, nope. I really spoke to myself. We're not going there today. This is something I'm going to learn from. In the past, I let this pull me down. I'm not doing it. Today's going to be a great day. That was just a freak thing. Maybe I had a bad dream. Nope, we're having a great day today. And I did think about it almost all day yesterday, but I didn't let it stop me. So I learned that the dark can teach me that I don't have to stay there.
Right.
And I can
say that last one again, babe.
And I can live in the light. I can know that I do not have to stay there. I can get out of it and I could change my day right that.
Yes, I love that you said that. And I want to, again, here I am. I'm like, I want to make sure that everybody that's watching knows what Jen is talking about, meaning there's a chapter dedicated to overcoming your fears right here in my book. And what Jen is sharing with you is really the steps that it takes to get beyond fear and letting the fear rule your life. I mean, oftentimes what happens is we get into fear and we don't sometimes recognize it. So I want to just remind everybody that if you're taking notes, this is a really great note to take, because I remember for me when my awareness became more heightened, then I felt more, what's the word I'm looking for? Well, with awareness, you can actually realize you have a choice, right? I'm aware that I'm in fear, and now I actually have a choice to either take action or be in inaction. But awareness is key to any change. So as Jen was just sharing, I want to review, because this is a great review for all of you here today and for those of you watching the replay. So 5 tools to help you flip the switch. Let's go right into this a minute. Notice that Jen said she was awake, right? And so tool number 1 is acknowledge and accept the fear. So when you're aware of it, like I said, you can overcome it. And you want to allow yourself to feel the fear and then step number 2 or tool number 2 is to thank the fear and send it back to where it came from. Right? So we thank it for what it's teaching us, and also the sheer thankfulness of it. What it does is it allows us to not resist it. I want you to always remember, what you resist persists, because you're really manifesting in a way that you're saying, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this, which, remember, the law of attraction knows vibration. It doesn't know words, like from a personality state. It doesn't know, it knows the energy behind the words, right? It's the frequency. So that's why, if you've heard people go, oh, it happens in 3s, it really does often, and 4s and 5s and 6s, because you're focused on the thing. And sometimes when something happens, good or bad, number 2 of the day, you're literally looking for number 3. Anybody ever know do you get where I'm going with that? Yeah, Monica, exactly. Okay, so we thank the fear and we send the energy back to where it came from. Okay, number 3 is we redirect the energy to something that makes you feel good. So redirecting your energy. Now, this might be getting up and moving your body. This might be breathing deeply, right? You could breathe in, breathe out. It might be playing some music, helping a friend, making a gratitude list. All right. Tool number 4 is to get out of self. Okay. Get out of self. And I can recall in the days for me when I really was in a fear-based state, getting out of self was huge to my health. So what I did was I would often pick up the phone and phone a friend. I had 2 neighbor ladies that were widows that I would often just go right on over, knock on their door, and be of service in any way. And then pretty soon, within 15 minutes, I forgot about my own set of fears or whatever that looked like. And now I was literally shining a light on them, helping them feel better. Okay. So again, those of you that are taking notes, you think 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day. Many of those thoughts, I think they say close to 90% of those, are repeat thoughts from yesterday. And much of the thoughts that we think from yesterday are fear-based thoughts. And guess what? Many people don't even know they live there. It's just normal. Okay. All right. So tool number 5 is ask for help. And I'm going to tell you a Les Brown quote that I love. In fact, I'm going to write this in my stories today, but ask for help, not because you are weak, but because you want to remain strong. And I want to just say, Jen, I'm really glad that even though you only had, 15 minutes, that you were able to get on the call today, because really what Jen is showing you is she's not sitting in the crap anymore. She's not just accepting it as her life path and getting more depressed, talking more nonsense. She says, I'm not letting it control my day. And although she thought about it throughout the day, guys, what did she do? She closed the gap on the fear. When you can close the gap on fear, you're winning, aren't you? Because the feeling of fear, the physical feeling, can debilitate people. It steals your good energy. And when we sit in those places without tools, we can live there a lifetime. And you know what? Hi, Debbie. Oh, I'm so happy to see Deb. Oh, yay. I'm happy to see all of you. I just hadn't seen Deb for a while. Don't think she's my favorite or anything. Ah, all of you are my favorites. That's a big joke, by the way, in my own family. But anyway, back to the fear though. See, my whole point of writing this whole book, Flip the Switch, the whole book was I was inspired by God to help more people out of fear. And I have been on a mission to do that ever since. So this is why these calls are so important to me, is to be able to offer something to the world, no matter who joins, right? And help more people out of fear. And I love when people like Jen come on and say, you know, these calls have changed my life. And when I don't get to the calls, I feel a little like I'm missing out, right? She's missing her, what I would call like her vitamin or her morning cup of coffee, kind of like that. All right. Jen, I love that you're in a convertible. You look like you're having a great time out there. All right. Okay, who is next? Deb, you want to go?
I missed Jen's. I wasn't watching the clock. I'm sorry, but I missed what Jen was talking about. But I have been in like a total. Well, you know what's going on in my life, and there's a. I've been in fear. I you know, because of my age and because of you know, life changing so much. Yeah, I'm totally like fighting that, you know, and I know that there's those tools that I should be using and stuff, and I'm trying to use them. But well, not really, but it's hard.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that for a minute, guys. You know, we can have tools. We can even know the answers. But when you're in an emotional state and you're going through things in your life, sometimes those heightened emotions, when it's our own, right? Isn't it really easy to give someone a suggestion or a tip? You know, oh gosh, get right into the tools. It's easy for me to say that. Do the tools work? They do. Does Deb know they work? She does. She's been on these calls for multiples of years. Here's what I want you to know. When you're in it, it's a little bit harder to flip the switch. Why? Well, because it's your own emotions. Because when emotions are high, logic is low. I want you to think about that a minute. If people buy 7 times more on emotion, it's the same thing. It's just a different kind of emotional high, right? So think about it. When you're excited, when you're all ready to, you know, who knows, make a purchase that maybe otherwise you wouldn't have made because your excitement, right? The logic is low. That's a good kind of excitement. It's low because you're in the heightened state of the emotion. Logic goes out the window. We're passionate people, right? The other thing is when we're going through a lot of heightened emotions, logic is low. In other words, we get a little self-consumed. We get in these fear-based places. It could be age. It could be, you know, economic insecurity. It could be all kinds of things. And what I know to be true is I myself have gone through and felt so many of these things and come out the other side, which is why I love to be able to come to these calls and support all of you. So Deb, tell me what you hope to get from this call today.
I'm trying to focus. I'm working on focusing on things that I have to do to get ready to for my second stage of life. And you know, and what I want from this call is clarity, I guess. Clarity that that and cheerleader. Like, you've been through so much in your life. You've walked the walk and you're talking the talk, so it puts you meat behind what you're saying, and so that is actually encouraging for me, actually. And but in true, like you said, it's like I said to my lawyer the other day, I said, everybody knows that anybody can get cancer, you know what I mean? But until the doctor tells you you have cancer, it's a whole different ball of wax. It puts it in a different perspective. Everybody knows that there's a potential of something good or bad, and until you actually are faced with it, it threw me in a little bit of I logically, I knew where I was heading, but it put me into a fear-based state, and I didn't like it.
Right. It puts you in a fear-based state. So let's talk about, for Deb right now, let's give her some encouragement. And that's what she came here for, right? She came here to feel better. Each one of you got on this call today for a reason. And I would venture to say that if we did a little poll, all of you would say, because I want to feel better having been here. Well, if you've been here before, Monica's new to the call, but the majority of you have been here and you come back here, and many people listen. I get lots of notes of people listening from YouTube and different spots because they need the uplift. They need to be lifted up, right? So, Deb, I'm going to give you a little assignment, and I know that you can do this if you choose, and that's going to be up to you. But I just said, but I don't like saying that either. So how's that? I'm going to use a different filler word. So how about today, when you get off this call, or even right now, sometimes I can do a few little things, just boom, boom, boom. You take some 3x5 cards and you claim what you want. One of the most powerful questions that you will ask yourself on a daily basis is, what do you want? I've been talking about this a lot for the past couple of weeks, because whenever I onboard somebody, whenever I begin working with someone in a coaching capacity, so any of my clients, whomever I'm working with, even companies, I say, what is it that you want? And you would be surprised. People look at me a little bit like this. Most women, I'm just going to say it because there's a majority here as women. Most women are so busy with their other jobs, with their children, running here, running there, with household chores, dinners, husbands, whatever it is. They do not give themselves the permission to take good care of themselves. I said most, not all, but most. So when I say, what do you want? Which seems very simple, they'll pause. 95% of all the people I ask that to have never really thought about it, or they've just thought about what they want for the day. Oh, I just want a peaceful day. No. I'm talking about, what do you want for your life? What do you want for, if you had a pen and paper, this is what I do. I just did this with my son last night. Pen and paper. You get to write your story. What do you want? So Deb, I want to ask you, what do you want your life to look like from today going forward?
Just you want me to say it?
Yeah, get some things out. Absolutely, I do.
I want to be independent.
Okay. I want to be independent. And I know you wrote that down. What else do you want?
I want to be financially secure, actually.
Okay. I want to be financially secure. What else do you want?
Actually, I want my own place.
I want my own home. What else do you want?
Peace.
Okay. I want peace. All right. Keep going. I know this is tough, Deb. You keep going though. We're going to help you raise that vibration. Keep her going, babe.
I want joy.
I want joy.
I know that's real general, but you know, and joy, like fun with friends.
Yes.
I want to be successful in the next chapter of my wherever life takes me, and my next chapter in, you know,
of life. Your next,
yes,
you're
yes.
You know what you're doing, Deb? You're writing a new book, right? It's not a chapter. You're closing one chapter and you're going on to a new book. You're closing a book rather, and you're going to go on to write your own new book.
Right.
Right?
Right, exactly.
All right. So
I'm writing this down.
yeah, I like it. And here's what I want to ask you. Today is what day? Friday.
Yes.
And those of you listening, this is a really good thing to do. You get your pen and paper, get a journal, and you can do what I'm even suggesting Deb do. You can add on to what you may already have if you've got something. See, when we truly realize that we are the authors of our lives, your thinking leads to what, Deb?
Your thinking it's what you think about happens, or it comes about.
Why is it? Do you remember?
Because there's a connection. There's that mind. I mean, if you put something out in the universe, whether you think about it or you verbally say it, you're putting. I always say, don't. Yeah. If something happens, my daughter says something. Don't put that out in the universe.
Okay.
Let's rephrase that.
Yeah. What Deb is saying is, guys, what you think of. Okay, first off, this is where people often think that the world and life is happening to them. And in retrospect, your life is happening for you. Okay, it's for you. And some of the most challenging experiences, death, divorce, losing a job, losing something that's meaningful to you, a severed relationship, children moving out, just all these major things. It's hard to believe that could be for me. But what if we really understood that it really was for you, and it's strengthening you and helping you grow into the person that you're uniquely designed to be? Now, when I look at it that way, I'm a little bit more capable of handling my scenario. It feels a little better, doesn't it? So let me give you a couple examples. In the last 21 years of me being in the network marketing channel, I've never been in a situation, up until then, right? Which I guess, it's the majority of my working career, right? I had a career at Nordstrom that I loved it. I love being a mother, but boy, this channel has challenged me more than anything else that I ever did in my life to grow personally. So what Jen was going through this morning, what Debbie's going through today, and what many of you are going through, any of the discomfort, it's a lesson in something that you need in your life. It's for you. It's not happening to you. It's not meant to break you. It's meant to plant you so that you can begin growing. Are you guys with me? All right. So it's fun to have a pen and paper and write what you want. Here's what I'm going to give you a tip though, because this will happen. I do this with clients, and then sometimes I get back their work and I see where their mind is. What we have to resist is the temptation to write in that what I want, the reason why I don't want to live my life blank. So let me give you an example. Now, Deb has had some practice at this, so I know she can do it. But guess what? We revert. It took us, like, I'm 55. It took me a lot of years to get where I am today. So if I've got some nagging habits that aren't serving me, they don't usually vanish overnight. They go away with practicing a new habit, right? So I replace that habit with a new mindset or a new frame of mind, reframing. Now watch. This is what will happen on occasion. People will say, I want a new house because the house I live in is too small. Deb, what's wrong with that statement?
You just negated, you can't have a negative and a positive all in one's want.
You just said I want, and here you just gave the reason of why not. So this is really easy to do. I want to explain this to you all in a way that will be even easier to understand. Has there ever been something you wanted so badly that you couldn't quit thinking about it? What is it? Anyone? Could be anything. Monica, what are you going to say?
Freedom from domestic violence.
Okay, freedom around domestic violence. So now here's what I do want to say about that. Anybody that's experiencing that, my suggestion, and I know Monica would agree with me, is you go get help right away. You go get help right away. If you can't do that, then you phone somebody that you trust and you talk with them and begin opening that conversation. All right. Freedom from anything is important to, I'm sure, every single person here, whether they realize it or not. So what we do though, and I'm going to use this example, and I'm going to use it carefully because I don't want to, this isn't about anybody. It's not about Monica. I don't know the situation, but watch. I want to be free from this domestic violence. Let's say this is my mindset. And then I go, because I don't like being verbally abused, because I'm worthy of more than being, tossed around or whatever it is. Do you get where I'm going? And all of a sudden, what I'm focusing on is what I don't want to see happen anymore. And this perpetuates. Now, here's what I want you guys to hear. It's really important. It perpetuates the energy frequency that you're in. Do you hear where I'm at with this? So when Deb said what you put out there is what you get back, I like to break things down as simple as possible. Now, there's the law of physics and all this stuff, but I just want to make it so easy that if a fourth grader listened to this, they could understand it. Right now, I'm operating on a frequency. I'm sharing this stuff with you on a frequency of passion. Can you hear it in my voice? Do I sound pretty firm in what I believe? Yes, I do. Look at me. Yes, I do. But watch this. I'm sharing this with you in a frequency. I'm not really sure where to go or what to do. Is that a different frequency? You're damn right. Is it bad to be in those places? That's not what we're talking about. We just have to understand right here that whatever we pull into our thoughts is what will be magnified. And those thoughts create a feeling. The feeling creates the frequency and the energy that you put out to the world. Now, you guys get it? It's like spraying it's like spraying a pump of perfume on. If you spray one pump, you can kind of smell it. Well, depending on the perfume, but you guys get where I'm going, right? But if I give a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 pumps, now people are really going to smell it. Now I'm just using that as an example, but do you get what I mean? If I start talking about my problem, which is one of the things I did, I've admitted this on these calls, in my 20s and 30s, none of you would have wanted to been around me very much. That's how come I can relate to people when they go through these kinds of things. And my heart is so open for people like this because I was she. And I know some of you probably are like, I couldn't imagine Joan like that. I can't either anymore. It's been many, many years, but I had to be willing to have someone point it out. You know, you're talking all about this horrible relationship that you have. You're not doing anything about it. And you're talking to anybody that would listen. And I remember one of my girlfriends saying, I'm afraid you're going to get sick. Because that's all I could talk about. I'm going to give you another tip. Boy, today's power packed. All right. Remember this, guys. Your body, the physical body, manifests as well. So if I think this thought and I feel this feeling, it also comes out in our physical body. You felt fear, haven't you? Yeah. You felt emotions of joy and happiness, haven't you? Of course. So write this down. When you are in and then I want you to write a dash, DIS dash ease, EASE. And I want you to think about that. Disease, dis-ease. That's why you hear people when you go look at some of the science of like Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he talks about people having stage 4 cancer and him getting a hold of them and literally changing the energy. And all of a sudden the cancer can't grow there anymore. It didn't like those cells of positivity. Now, this is maybe a lot for some of you, but this is the power of frequency. All right. I'm going to tell you one thing, how I know this works. And then Deb, you pipe on in. Guys, I used to, I had a mantra that I would do over and over and over, and it was about health. I've always had fairly good health. I mean, I always had great health. What am I talking about? Not fairly good, great. Literally, I never had a cold, a sickness, anything for like over 4 years. And when I got at this, there was this place where I was a little depleted, right? Meaning I'd worked really hard. It was right around the holidays last year. I was pretty depleted. And then I got sick. Almost like I knew it was coming because I started feeling it. And then what do you think I did? What I'm sharing with you not to do. I was like, I don't want to get sick. Oh, I don't want to get sick. I remember sitting on the airplane next to a woman that was hacking up a lung. And I was thinking, oh, I don't want to get her sickness. Oh, I don't want to. And you guys, guess what? I knew it too. I thought, oh, you're just, and then I was irritated because I kept, mulling it over in my head. You guys get where I'm going? All right. So today, if I have driven this home in a way that speaks to you, I'm really glad, because there is a way out of fear. And although you cannot control people places, and things. This is why if you're in an unhealthy scenario, you have to remember what you can control, which is you. And you can control the thoughts that create the feelings, that create the action or inaction. And I want you to write this down too. Boy, I have a lot of notes to take today. The fastest way out of fear is what? Who knows? The fastest way out of fear. Deb?
Change something different. Go for a walk. Go have a cup of coffee.
She knows it's called action. The fastest way out of fear is action. And yet, guess what most people do? I'm going to go to a dark room and I'm going to isolate. I'm ashamed. I should be doing better. I'm going to beat myself up for another few days. Go have a cocktail. I'm going to isolate. And guess what? Do we feel better? No. In fact, it begins to perpetuate. And all of a sudden people say things like, God, you look stressed. Geez, did you get sleep? Wow, she never smiles anymore. You get where I'm going? You have the power, and so do I, to stop the train. And it starts by your thoughts. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. That's why not everybody's living a happy, free, joyous life. It's not easy. But you cannot leave this call not knowing what the hell's going on now. You can't unknow what you just learned today. And guess what else? That is the ticket to freedom. The ticket to freedom is knowing that you have some tools to get out of this stuff. And I'm going to make one more extension of offer. And my business coach would probably kill me, but I'm going to do it. If you all, anyone on this call needs an individual call with me, you can instant message me. All right. And I will be happy to talk with you one-on-one. You know why I say my business coach would kill me? Because I don't have much time on my hands free to like be doing all kinds of things, meaning, right? I'm kind of accounted for in my time, but this is how passionate I am. I will help you. I will help you so you can help you and help others. That is my mission. All right. Geez, I was on a roll. Woo!
Joan,
All right.
I have a question real quick.
Yeah. Hey, Irene.
So when you're writing these things out and the things that you want, like, I mean, I know most of my life, I mean, even growing up, like I was, taught like to be content with what you have. And, I think that over time, like I've just realized, sometimes I think like I can write out the things that I want, but when I'm writing them, I don't think that they're possible.
Okay.
Or,
Yeah. You
I
think
feel
you're
like,
asking for too much?
yeah, or I'm being selfish, or I'm, going against like what God's plan is for my life, or so that I should just kind of sit back and accept what he's given to me already and not really, ask for all the things that I want, I guess. I hope that makes sense the way that I'm saying it.
It does. Now, I want you to tell me, though, what question do you want me to answer for you?
How do you get out of that thought process? Like, because it becomes, I'm 41, so it's kind of like a way of life for me to think that I should be content and that certain things are not possible for me. And trying to like shift that mindset when I'm writing out my wants, I think that it's a huge block for me because I know what I want, but a lot of times when I write it out, I'm like, that's not even possible.
Okay, I'm going to give you, first off, this isn't a religion call, guys. And I mean, for me, I believe in God, but I respect whatever anybody's backgrounds are. But I'm going to show you something because you brought it up. Irene, do you know how many times in the Bible it says, ask and you shall receive?
Yeah, I have it on my refrigerator, actually.
Okay. The word ask is mentioned 109 times, pardon me. It's mentioned 119 times. Ask and you shall receive. Now, there's other places that say it's like in the multiples of hundreds because there's different places that refer in a different way. So here's what I want you to know. What Irene is dealing with, guys, is Irene is dealing with a limited belief that was a condition of her environment. She's a product of what she was told, right? I'm on a roll with this. So I want to tell you guys something. You want something really funny? When I was little, just stay with me here because this is off, but you'll get where I'm going. My grandma, now this is my mom's mother, lived in California, and I used to go get to visit her. And she lived in a kind of a grand house, and she had a bar, and they used to make their scotch and sodas with a jigger and had the little stir stick. Well, I wanted to be a bartender, right? Think about it. When you're a little kid and you want to use the garnishes and all this stuff. And she had a fun little bar. And I remember stirring her drink with my finger. And my grandma went, oh, now this is how this impacted me. She went, oh, Joan, you don't ever do that. You're going to get worms. Now, that's funny right now, isn't it? But when I was in like the 8th or 9th grade and one of my girlfriends did some kind of stirring with their finger, I went, oh God, don't do that. You're going to get worms. I believe that. I thought that your dirty fingers were going to give you worms because that's what my grandma told me. So what Irene is dealing with is that she was told, be happy with what you have, be content, blah, 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 blah. Now, here's what I want to say to that. What part of that is true? There's a part of that that's true, but it's not limited to, I shouldn't want for more. And I want to show you guys something. Wanting for more. There is no shame in wanting for more, because why do you want it? You want it because you believe that having it is going to make your environment and world better. God wants you to have what you want. Of course he does, or he wouldn't give you the desire to want more. But what is it? It's not just material things. Like, let me give you an example. I love to make money. Oh, I love money and what I can do with it. Do you get where I'm going? I love making lots of money and I'm willing to work for the money. But why do I love making lots of money? Because I can come and go to my grandkids like I'm right now here. I've traveled here probably 5 times in the last 3 or 4 months. I can put money in my grandchildren's college fund. I can blah, 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 blah. I don't look at price tags when I shop. I don't want to. Is it irresponsible? No, it only is if I don't have the money. Do you get where I'm going? So Irene, what you are looking to do is reestablish your belief system around the thing. So when I write it, I'm going to give you a few tips. I want you to pull up, and you can Google this. This is the easiest way. If anybody wants to reinforce what you want to believe, you've got to take on a new belief. And one of the easiest ways is Google I am statements of self-worth, of worthiness, around money. It could be I am statements around, positivity. It could be any subject. I am statements. And then what Irene wants, what I would suggest for you, Irene, is you don't believe it because you haven't repeated it enough times to your brain. Now, here's the other thing that's kind of funny. If I sat here and told you guys for the entire call, we're going to repeat a mantra like, I am worthy of all the things that I want. I am worthy of all the things that I want. It can't be earned. No, that's not how it works. You already were worthy, and you already are worthy, and you're always worthy. And we kept going over this. I am worthy. I am worthy. By the time we get off the call, you will have said it so many times. Does your brain know the difference between the reality of this right now or the visualization of the future? Your brain doesn't know. It knows, though, what you tell it. So a belief is nothing more than the way you view the outside world and yourself by what you tell it. If I look outside right now, and right now it appears a little cloudy here, but guess what? I could look outside and say, oh my gosh, I see the sun coming through. It's a completely different feeling, isn't it? It's a practice. So, Irene, many times before we fully can believe, we have to claim it, and we get to repeat it and say it over and over. Now, you guys might be surprised, but all the stuff that I teach you, I do myself. So would that surprise? It probably would surprise some of you. And I'm going to show you something here in just a second, maybe, if I can. Yeah, maybe not. I don't know where I put those, but oh no, here they are. See, I also can get into places that are challenging. So guess what Joan travels with? I do my cards all the time, because sometimes I get in a place where I don't believe it for a minute. And I go, wait a minute, no, I am a person that turns challenges into opportunities to learn. I drive results by visualizing and taking action. I serve in a way that honors God and my divine purpose. I claim unlimited ways that money flows to me. You guys see where I'm going with this? These are just 3x5 cards that you can buy at the grocery store. So if I'm Irene and I want to believe something new, I discipline myself. Oh, I love it, Monica. I discipline myself to every single time that I start not feeling great, I go grab my cards and I repeat them over and over and over again until the feeling changes. And I'm going to tell you one more thing. I just did this with someone that was at my house, and I had her stand in what we call the power position, the mountain pose. You stand with your feet firmly on the ground, stand up straight, shoulders back. And I handed her a card. I said the card and I handed her a card. Some of them I repeated twice, and then she repeated twice. You guys get where I'm going? This is how we change it. We change it by telling ourselves a new story. I am a sales magnet, by the way, just so you know. All right. Irene, is that helpful?
Very helpful. And it's funny because I actually have a stack of index cards on my table right now they're all blank, but there's a huge stack of them.
So they're ready to be used.
So it was meant to be.
All right, there we go. Okay, guys, we're getting to the top of the hour, and I would love to, Monica, you're brand new. How about if we draw a card for you? Brand new. She's like, jeez. I'm thrilled that you joined the call.
Can I say something about what you guys what you were just talking about?
Yes.
Is that I was raised that if you wanted more than what you had, it was sinful. Like I was legit like fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
And it took a long time for me to get out of that limiting belief. And I still struggle with it. It's not
Sure.
something that goes away permanently. But the thing that really helped me was understanding what the semicolon means. Because
Explain
it's one sentence, it's like two sentences put together, but they're not countering each other. So it's a balance between being content with what you have and being grateful for the things that you have, whether it's a struggle or it's a blessing, right?
Mhm.
And then saying, but, you know, and in addition to this, I am going to, you know, have this, I claim this, I am worthy of this, I am blessed with this is intended for me, and it's out there. I just need to acknowledge that it's there for me. And so the semicolon is like a big thing in my world, understanding that it's a balance between the two sides of contentment and blessing that's still out there. And you're
Absolutely.
growing into it.
Yeah. And I love that you shared that, because here's the deal. I could also say to Irene, you know, we have things, sometimes people have a hard time remembering what they could be grateful for. So to your point, Monica, I mean, we have 2 arms, 2 legs, we've got eyes to see, we've got breath. I mean, that's a lot right there. We could go down that list. So acknowledging what you're grateful for and what you're thankful for, that's going to raise the vibration. I needed to finish a thought too, because this is important. Wanting more is not, in my opinion, okay, so this is what I believe. Wanting more means wanting more of yourself, for yourself, and for others. And there is nothing noble about being broke. Nobody follows a broke person. I mean, you know, I'm going down this list, but same thing is true with fear-based thoughts and these kinds of things. So remember that we establish a belief based on our environment, based on what we were taught in those formative years. And some of the beliefs are limiting. Now, I want you to think about this as you go on about your weekend. Religion has been a saving grace for many, many people. And I myself was raised in a background where we did go to church and whatnot. And I mean, I'm thankful for that. Here's what I want you to know though. A lot of the rules in religions are to protect you. Now, some of the way that people did it in those days was, if I can scare you enough, then you'll do what we want you to do. So just remember that. You know, if you are scared, I mean, anybody kind of see a correlation in the world? If I can scare you enough, then you'll do what I want you to do. So just think about that. But you all here are coming here for new ways of thinking, to elevate your own unique design, and to walk away feeling better having come to the call than you got here, or to continue the momentum of the good things. So you can change your belief, and you will believe after claiming it over a period of time. But most things that you write down, in other words, I had somebody send me an affirmation about a level of leadership that they wanted to attain in their company. And I said, I want you to say it out loud. And she said, oh, I feel really awkward. I said, just say it. Each time that she came to the call, and this has been, I don't know, let's just say over the course of a couple months, guess where she's at now? She's like, firm, right here. This is what she wants. It went from being hard to say and uncomfortable to now she is in full belief. And what ends up happening, guys, when we claim a belief or a goal or a mindset or a dream is you start saying no to the things that would stand in the way of that. And you start saying yes to the actions that get you to that. You don't have to know the how. You just have to have the dream. You've got to know, ready, what it is you want. And realize that the majority of people focus on what they don't want, and that's why they keep getting more of it. All right. Okay, before we wrap up today, I would love, would anybody like a card? Because I'm willing to stay on a few minutes more if you'd like one. Monica,
Could you draw one for me?
you were getting one,
I've
right?
never done it.
Okay. All right, let's see what we got here for you. Look at this. Be inspired by others, compete with yourself. All right, I always love this card. I'm going to read this. Sometimes I look at what others are doing and I feel tempted to compete, and yet I'm only competing with myself. I will look at the achievements of others as an example of showing me of what could be done. I will think about how I can be better today than I was yesterday. I'll flip the switch from focusing on what others may or may not be doing or their results to measuring my own. Compare where you are now to where you are headed. Now, I'm going to say one thing about this card, because those of you that are competitive, I don't want you to think that's not a bad thing, by the way. But sometimes we measure ourselves in a beginning stages to somebody that's been doing it for 20 years, and we beat ourselves up and go, well, boy, if so-and-so, has such an easy time doing this, I should be having an easier time. Those kind of comparisons. Do you get where I'm going? Well, that's not reality. That'd be like me trying to say, I want to be, an Olympic skier, and I just got onto the bunny hill, and then getting irritated that I'm not good enough yet. So my point is, you look out into the world and you see what you want, and then you begin measuring where you're at in developing that. Monica, how did that speak to you?
I find it interesting because I made a post on Facebook today, and it's multiple slides, but it starts out with, I will not compare my chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. The only competition I have is the one in the mirror, and I know that I can achieve my goals by showing up, loving myself, and not giving up.
All right. Now, what do we say? Does the energy can't lie, guys. Look at that. You attracted that because guess what? That's what she was thinking on. Isn't it interesting how it works? That's energy. It's frequencies. Frequencies. And remember, God, light, love, gratitude, those are the highest frequencies. All right. I love it. You guys, I could go on and on. I want to just say, does anyone else, what can I do for you before we, Deb?
I'll take a card.
Okay, here we go. Did I probably say I was going to give you one and then I moved on? Woo! All right, here is Debbie. Do you want 1, 2, or 3? You got 3 popped out, girlfriend.
3.
All right, I'm going to go like this. 1, 2, 3, because I mixed them up. Oh, Deb, you're going to like this. I use my past experience to learn and grow. I use my past experience to learn and grow. So let me read that. Sometimes I am unable to see the gift of today when I live in the past. My world becomes a repeat cycle of yesterday. The past is a nice place to visit, but it's a terrible place to live. I will choose to be grateful for the past and use my experience to strengthen me today. Flip the switch. I will focus on the beauty and love that is in front of me today. Be present, be grateful, and be the light. Deb.
I'm telling you, when I raised my hand earlier, and what I was going to say is that exact same thing. I was going to say, I'm to the point where I'm trying to thank my past
Yes.
so that I can focus on my future today and my future.
I love it. And it's not always easy, guys. When we're going through a lot of emotional stuff, it's not easy. But guess what? You have your source of strength. You have the community that we have here. And you have tools and resources, not to say that you aren't going to feel. You ought to feel. We have to feel. But there's hope because you're surrounded by people that care and love you. And Deb, I love you so, so much. And I believe in you. And you are a wonderful, wonderful woman. And you're going to get exactly what you want. I believe that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, guys. I will be seeing you, I believe, Monday. I gotta make sure I'm on for Monday. I will be seeing you Monday. I've got a family reunion this weekend, so I'm very excited. And like I said, if anybody needs something, you know where to find me. All right. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend. Bye, guys.